The restaurant was packed that evening. The smell of freshly baked bread, sizzling steak, and aromatic herbs filled the air as waiters moved swiftly from table to table. Among them was Anna, a young waitress who worked tirelessly to support her family. She had been on her feet since early morning, smiling through her exhaustion. Customers adored her kindness, though most never realized the weight she carried behind her cheerful greetings. Anna's father had fallen ill months ago, and her younger brother was still in school. She worked double shifts, often skipping her own meals, just to make sure rent was paid and her family had enough to survive. Still, she held her head high. She believed in dignity, in treating every person with respect, no matter how tired or broken she sometimes felt inside. That night, however, everything was about to change. The door to the restaurant swung open and in walked a tall man in a custom-tailored suit, followed by two associates. His watch glittered under the chandelier lights, and his confident stride commanded attention. This was Victor Keller, a billionaire businessman visiting from Germany, known for his ruthless deals and arrogant personality. People whispered when he walked past their tables, as though his presence alone demanded silence. Anna was assigned to serve him. She approached politely, tray in hand, and asked, "Good evening, sir. Would you like to see the menu?" Victor barely glanced at her. He leaned back in his chair, smirked at his colleagues, and then said something in German low enough that most wouldn't understand, but loud enough for her to hear. Ein einfache Kellnerin wie sie hat kein Recht, uns überhaupt anzusehen. A simple waitress like her has no right to even look at us. His colleagues chuckled, covering their mouths. Anna froze. She understood every word. What Victor didn't know was that Anna had once been a language student at a prestigious university. She spoke German fluently, but when her father's illness struck, she had been forced to leave her studies behind to work full-time. Her heart pounded. For years, she had swallowed insults from arrogant customers, always choosing patience over pride. But tonight, something inside her snapped. She couldn't let this pass, not when she knew exactly what he had said. She steadied herself, smiled politely, and replied in flawless German. Es tut mir leid, Herr Keller. Aber ein einfache Kellnerin wie ich werde nes, respektvoll behandelt zu werden. Geld mag macht kaufen, aber es kauft keinen Anstand. I'm sorry, Mr. Keller. But a simple waitress like me deserves to be treated with respect. Money may buy power, but it doesn't buy decency. The restaurant went silent. Every head turned toward their table. Victor's smirk vanished, his eyes wide in shock. He hadn't expected her to understand, let alone to respond with such confidence. His associates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For the first time in a long time, Anna felt her voice mattered. She stood straighter, refusing to let fear control her. The silence stretched until Victor finally leaned forward, his arrogance cracking under the weight of her words. "Where did you learn German?" he asked, this time in English. Anna calmly replied, "At university. Before life forced me to put my dreams on hold." Something about her honesty pierced through him. For years, Victor had lived in a world where money shielded him from consequences. But here was a waitress, earning barely enough to survive, who had dared to stand up to him in front of everyone. Yet, the story didn't end there. Over the next few minutes, Victor tried to regain control, barking orders and complaining about service, but the room wasn't with him anymore. Customers whispered, some even smiled at Anna with admiration. His power in that moment had slipped away. Anna continued her shift, her hands trembling, but her spirit unshaken. She thought that would be the end of it, just another story of standing up for herself. But destiny had other plans. Later that night, when the restaurant had nearly emptied, Victor approached her privately. His voice was lower now, almost unsure. "I may have been out of line earlier." Anna looked at him, tired but firm. "May have been?" He sighed. "Fine. I was. I underestimated you. I've been surrounded by people who laugh at my arrogance instead of challenging it. You reminded me I'm not untouchable." Anna didn't soften easily. She had been hurt too many times by wealthy customers who thought service staff were beneath them. Respect shouldn't be optional, she told him. You don't get points for realizing it only when someone talks back. Her words lingered. And for reasons he couldn't explain, they haunted him long after he left the restaurant. Days later, Victor returned, not for a meal, but to see her. He had done research, learning about her family situation and how she had left her education unfinished. Instead of pity, he brought an opportunity. "You deserve better than this," he said quietly. "If you're willing, I'd like to sponsor your return to university." No strings attached. Anna was stunned. She didn't trust easily, especially not a man like him. "Why?" she asked. Victor paused. "Because you showed me that character matters more than money. And because I need to change. Maybe helping you is a first step." The decision wasn't easy. Accepting help felt like weakness, like admitting she couldn't stand alone. But her father's words echoed in her heart: sometimes strength is knowing when to accept kindness, not just when to fight alone. She accepted, not for herself only, but for her family, for the dreams she had put aside. Months passed. Anna returned to her studies, excelling once again. Victor visited occasionally, not as the arrogant billionaire who once insulted her, but as a humbled man seeking redemption. Their friendship grew, built not on power or wealth, but on respect. Anna's journey inspired others in the restaurant too. Her co-workers, once too afraid to speak up, began standing taller, refusing to let rude customers diminish their worth. And Victor? He began funding programs to support workers in the service industry, quietly giving back to the people he once looked down on. The story of that night spread beyond the restaurant walls. It became a reminder to everyone who heard it: respect is not a privilege earned by wealth, it's a basic human right owed to all. And Anna? She never forgot the moment she found her voice. From that day forward, she carried herself with pride, knowing she was never just a waitress. She was a daughter, a sister, a dreamer, and most importantly, a human being who deserved dignity. By the end, Victor wasn't the only one who had changed. Anna, too, learned something powerful: that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it's as simple as refusing to stay silent in the face of disrespect. And now, dear listeners, I want to ask you, what would you have done in Anna's place? Would you have stayed silent, or would you have spoken up just like she did? Share your thoughts in the comments below, I would love to hear your perspective. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, be kind always, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another inspiring story. Remember, no matter who you are or where you come from, respect and kindness always matter. Because in the end, money fades, but dignity remains.